At
success.
every step
Every
of
step.
the negotiation, you've got to always be thinking about how's this going to impact my other two points on the triangle.
I want to switch gears a little bit and ask you a couple of different type of questions. And the first one is, sir, you have incredible experience. You talked about all the project work that you have done in your career. It sounds like you have lived for 200 years. But
sometimes
the amount of
I feel like it.
Yeah, certainly feels like it. Right. So you've done all these projects. You've been in complex negotiations and contracts. What are those critical success factors that make complex negotiations? You have done negotiations between countries, between companies and all parties. What are the critical success factors in these complex situations?
Well, I tell you, I have a sort of a diagram that's a triangle. That I say you've got to balance these three critical factors with sort of operations in the middle. But yes, one is the resource owner, so the yes, seller of the gas, and it may be a country, it may be a state like Alaska, it may be a seller, producer. Yes. The other is the financial community. Yes. You've got to make a project that's attractive to the financial community that fits your business. And yes, as you said, yes, the pipeline business may be different than E&P. Yes. And then the third is the customer. Yes. It's got to work for the customer. So you got to keep those three things in balance: the resource owner, the financial community, and the customer. Yes. In the middle of all that mix, you've got to have an operation that's safe and reliable. And so you can't shortchange that. Yes. We've got a different discussion on the operations side, but it's really keeping those three things in balance. And so if you take a large project like the Alaska project that's been around for 40 years and it's never, yes, quite gotten off the ground, where we had come to with the big Asian buyers was just what I felt was a beautiful balance in those three things. And part of that on all three, but certainly on the customer side, was this stability in, yes, pricing. The Asian market actually, loved that thought, where they could have stability in their energy bills. But it also fit for the financial community because we were talking about very long term contracts. Yes. Particularly, yes, we have a very large deal teed up with the Chinese that worked well for them, worked well for the financing, and importantly, it worked well for the resource owner, of which the state of Alaska is 25% of the resource and 100% resource owner. Yes, so Alaska is different than all the other states. They're a resource state. They own the resources in the ground, but they cannot sell them in the ground. They can only monetize them if they produce them, and they get their share of 25% of that production. So they're a resource owner, just like a country. And yes, so it's really balancing those three things and always keeping those in mind. And I just can never emphasize enough that customer segment has got to be key, particularly as the liquidity in the industry increases, their options increase. You've got to tailor something that works for all.
How wonderful to make sure all stakeholders are taken care of, and you keep that in mind for any success.
Every step of the negotiation, you've got to always be thinking about how's this going to impact my other two points on the triangle.
Yes, yes, yes.